Ladies, let me say this real plain. Just because you're with someone doesn't mean they need access to every room in your house. Some doors stay closed, not because you're hiding anything, but because you're protecting something. Your emotional blueprint is the silent story of your life. The moments that made you cry when no one was watching. The times you kept walking even when everything inside you was breaking. It's the heartbreaks you survived, the childhood wounds you buried, the lessons life taught you when it didn't go easy on you. It's every scar that shaped your strength and every tear that turned into wisdom. And let me tell you something, not everyone deserves to know all that. See, as a woman, you carry so much inside you. You've learned how to smile through storms and love people even when they couldn't love you back the same way. That's not weakness, that's power, but that power came with a price, and that price is not for public display. Just because a man shows up with charm and sweet words doesn't mean he's earned a seat in the most sacred part of your soul. A man has to earn the right to see what made you who you are, not just by being around, but by showing up consistently with respect, with care, with patience. You don't open the vault of your heart to someone who hasn't shown he knows how to handle the weight of it. Because the wrong man will listen to your past, not to understand you, but to use it against you when the time is right. He'll take your vulnerability and twist it to make you feel weak when it was the very thing that made you strong. You are not obligated to unpack your pain just to prove you're real. Some things are sacred because they belong to your growth, your healing, your private war stories that no one else but you had to fight through. Protecting your emotional blueprint isn't about being cold, it's about being smart. You don't owe your truth to someone who's still proving if he's trustworthy. You don't share your deepest fears with someone who hasn't even learned how to handle your silence. A man has to show you he's ready to go the distance, not just when you're happy and laughing, but when the road gets rough and your spirit gets quiet. You can be real, you can be open, and still be guarded. That's not being fake, that's being aware. There is a time for honesty and there is a time for discernment. Let him earn each layer of you. Let him earn the chapters you don't read out loud. Because once you hand someone the keys to your emotional history, they have access to break you if they don't know how to hold you. And the truth is, not every man is prepared to love the parts of you that had to heal alone. When it comes to money, too many women have been taught that silence is selfish or secrecy is wrong. But here's the truth, your financial decisions are your business, and your independence is not up for negotiation. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean every dollar you earn or spend has to be reported, tracked, or explained. That's not partnership, that's surveillance. And you didn't come this far in life just to hand over control to someone who might not understand the value of what you've built. You've worked hard to earn what you have. Maybe you've picked yourself up from zero. Maybe you've balanced bills and dreams at the same time. Maybe you've stayed up late building something that matters. That grind, that hustle, that responsibility is yours. And not everyone deserves a front row seat to how you manage it. A wise woman knows how to keep her financial freedom without making it a fight. Because the truth is, financial independence isn't just about having money, it's about having options. It's about knowing you can walk away if you have to. It's about peace of mind, security, and self-respect. If a man gets offended because you don't tell him where every dime is going, that's not a red flag, it's a billboard. A secure man is not threatened by a woman who has her own. He respects it, he admires it, he supports it. But a man who wants to count your coins and question your moves, he's not looking for a partner, he's looking for control. And control has no place in a healthy relationship. You're not hiding things, you're holding on to your power, you're not being shady, you're being strategic. There's nothing wrong with having a savings account he doesn't know about. There's nothing wrong with making investments he's not involved in. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with having money set aside for your dreams, your safety, or your future. Because life can change fast, and when it does, the last thing you want is to realize your freedom was tied to someone else's permission. Some people think love means full transparency in every area, but real love is built on trust, not control. You can be honest, loyal, and committed, and still keep your finances in your own name, in your own hands, because when a woman knows how to manage her money, she doesn't just survive, she thrives. She makes choices from power, not pressure. She moves with confidence, not codependence. Money doesn't define your worth, but how you manage it reveals your wisdom. Keep some things to yourself, not because you're hiding, but because you're protecting what you've built. Let your financial strength be your silent shield, your quiet power, and your reminder that no matter what happens, you've got you, yourself. Worth is not a mirror that reflects someone else's opinion. It's a deep-rooted truth that lives within you, shaped by who you are, not by how someone sees you. A man should never have the power to turn your light up or dim it down. That dial belongs in your hands, and your hands only. Because when you allow someone else to control how you feel about yourself, you give them permission to rewrite your value. And nobody on this earth has that right but you. Too many women have been conditioned to believe that validation must come from the outside. Compliments, attention, affection. It all feels good, but none of it should be the foundation of your confidence. Because if you build yourself, esteem on someone else's praise, it will crumble the moment they withdraw it. And trust this, if a man knows that your self-worth depends on him, he will either lift you up like a queen or tear you down like a project. That choice shouldn't be in his hands. You were enough before he came, and you'll still be enough if he walks away. When you understand your worth, you stop negotiating your standards. You stop shrinking to make him feel taller. You stop accepting less because you're afraid of being alone. A woman who knows her value doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't beg, she decides. She doesn't settle, she selects. And that kind of strength is magnetic. But it also intimidates the wrong man. There will be moments in a relationship when your emotions get shaken, when his words hit differently, when his silence cuts deeper than any argument. But even in those moments, your identity cannot be tied to his behavior. Just because he stops seeing your light doesn't mean you've stopped shining. His inability to appreciate you says more about his vision than your value. You've got to remind yourself, daily if you have to, that you are not what someone else labels you. You are what you decide you are. Hold that dial with pride. On days when you feel ignored, turn it up. When someone tries to make you feel less than, turn it up. When you catch yourself seeking approval just to feel good, turn it up again. Let yourself worth come from the quiet, knowing that you are growing, glowing, and going forward, whether anyone notices or not. Because real confidence isn't loud, it's steady, and when it comes from within, no man can take it away. You are not built to be somebody's emotional puppet. You are not made to be someone's backup plan. You are not placed here to be liked by everyone. You are here to live fully in your truth, to walk in your power, and to protect your peace. That meter inside you, keep it yours. Never hand it over to someone who hasn't even earned the right to adjust your volume. There's power in silence and even more in strategy. When you're working on something big, when your next move is loading, the best thing you can do is keep it to yourself. You don't have to explain, announce, or broadcast what's coming. Let your actions do all the talking, because the truth is, not everyone clapping for you is cheering you on. Some are watching to see if you fall, not if you fly. And the fewer people who know your steps, the fewer opinions, doubts, and distractions you'll have to manage. See, people love to give advice on dreams they've never pursued. They'll question your choices, plant seeds of doubt, and smile while telling you to play it safe. But your vision wasn't given to them, it was given to you. And you don't owe anyone a preview of your process. There's a quiet strength in doing the work behind the scenes, the grind, the sacrifice, the long nights and early mornings. They don't need an audience. That's the part nobody sees, but it's also where success is built. Some moves require peace, not praise. When you're building something real, something that's meant to last, it's fragile in the beginning. The energy around you matters. You can't afford to let noise in while the foundation is being laid. When you tell too many people what you're planning, you invite their fears into your faith. You give space for doubt to grow, not just in them, but in you. And sometimes even the people closest to you can't handle your growth. It's not that they don't love you. It's that your progress reminds them of their own stagnation. Your ambition makes them uncomfortable. Your next level highlights their comfort zone. That's why silence is powerful. When you stop talking about it and start being about it, the results speak louder than any post, caption, or conversation ever could. The right people won't need constant updates. They'll trust your direction because they trust your character. They'll celebrate the outcome without needing a sneak peek of the process. And those who don't understand it, let them watch from a distance. Let them wonder how you did it. Let them think you disappeared when really you were just focused. Your next big move doesn't need a press release. It needs discipline, patience, and execution. Every goal you're chasing is waiting for your focus, not your followers. Every door you're trying to open responds to consistency, not commentary. You weren't born to be a performer for other people's approval. You were born to build, to create, and to elevate. So protect your plans like you protect your peace. Move in silence, but work in full force. Let your results be so loud that the world has no choice but to listen. Because at the end of the day, real power isn't in talking about what you're going to do, it's in getting it done. There's a certain type of pain that doesn't leave bruises but shapes who you are. The kind that lives in the quiet corners of your heart, the chapters of your story that you don't always speak about. These are your vulnerable wounds, the things you've overcome, the moments that broke you down, the battles you fought alone. And as much as you may crave connection or healing through conversation, you need to know that not every man is equipped to handle those parts of you. Some will listen but not understand. Some will nod but secretly judge. And some will use those very wounds as weapons when they feel powerless. You are not obligated to unwrap every layer of your pain just because someone seems kind, interested, or emotionally available. Timing and trust matter. Some people are curious, not compassionate. They want to know your story, not to comfort you, but to categorize you, to figure out how damaged you are, how much work you'll be, how they can position themselves above your past. That's not love, that's inspection, and you're not here to be examined. You're here to be respected. Your wounds are sacred. They tell the story of your survival. The things you've been through are not baggage, they're battle scars. And if someone doesn't have the patience, maturity, and emotional capacity to hear about what you've endured and still see your worth, then they don't deserve access to that part of you. Healing isn't just about talking, it's about knowing when and to whom you speak. Your peace is too valuable to trade for temporary closeness or the illusion of intimacy. It's okay to be protective of your past. It's not about being guarded. It's about being wise. You can be soft and strong at the same time. You can open your heart without exposing every wound. Some things are meant to be healed in solitude or with people who have proven they can carry your truth without turning it into gossip, judgment, or control. Because the wrong man will see your vulnerability as weakness, he'll test your boundaries, guilt trip your emotions, or make you feel like your past disqualifies you from love, respect, or peace, and that's the kind of energy you don't need in your life. You are not defined by what you've been through. You are shaped by it, yes, but you are not less because of it. In fact, your ability to still love, trust, dream, and rise after all you've faced is proof of your strength. But that strength also includes knowing when to stay silent, when to wait, and when to protect your emotional space. Let someone earn the right to hear your story. Let them prove they can handle the truth with care. Until then, guard your heart without apology. Your peace, your healing, and your growth are not up for public access. They are yours and yours to protect. There are things that belong to the circle of women you call your sisters, your friends, your confidants, your ride or die crew. That bond is sacred, and what is shared in trust should stay sealed in loyalty. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean your man is entitled to everything that's said in the spaces that were never meant for his ears. Some things are shared heart to heart, woman to woman, not to be passed along like casual conversation, but to be kept safe in the vault of trust. Loyalty doesn't stop at romance. It runs through every relationship that's built on real love, respect, and honor. Your friends trust you with their raw moments, their fears, their missteps, and their private victories. They confide in you not because you have a man to pass it on to, but because you have the strength to carry it without judgment or exposure. When you take those private talks and offer them up to someone else, no matter how close you are, it chips away at the trust that built that sisterhood in the first place, and that kind of trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. Your partner doesn't need to know who cried on your couch last weekend, who's struggling in their marriage, or who finally walked away from a toxic situation. Those stories aren't yours to share. They were given to you in confidence, with the understanding that you would treat them like precious cargo, not pillow talk. A real woman knows how to separate relationships. She knows what belongs in the circle and what belongs in the home. She knows that not every story is hers to retell, especially not for casual conversation or entertainment. There's power in keeping things private, not because you're hiding something, but because you honor what's been trusted to you. It shows that you are grounded, reliable, and rooted in integrity. People watch how you talk about others. If you're quick to share someone else's secrets with your man, he's watching and silently wondering if you do the same to him. That reflection matters. It says more about your character than the content of the story you're telling. And let's be real, your sisters have been there in moments that your man might never fully understand. They've held you down, pulled you up, and sometimes even called you out. That kind of bond is forged through years of laughter, pain, and truth. It deserves protection. It deserves silence when silence is sacred. Because when women lose trust in each other, the whole foundation shakes, and no relationship with a man is worth sacrificing the loyalty you've built with the women who stood by you long before he ever came into the picture. You don't have to share everything to prove transparency. Wisdom is knowing what to keep close, and maturity is knowing why it matters. Protect your circle. Guard their stories like you'd want yours guarded. Some things belong only to the hearts that shared them,